You work in the media division of EMC Iceland. EMC Iceland is providing also for a lot of other industries, in banking, in retail, and I think everywhere. What are the challenges in media specifically, and what benefits can we get from somebody manufacturing not only for media, for other industries? How can we benefit from that?
The trends that we're seeing from our customers, which are 1 out of every 4 customers we have for EMC. So you're a very large segment of our market, the largest segment of our market. The things you're asking from us and the things you're asking each other, very clearly we're in a complex world. We're probably going to cross around 100 deliverable formats by the end of this year, which is not that far away. Where previously there was standard definition and it was purely linear, and now there are 100 different formats to deliver into, both linear and non, we live in a complex world. Infrastructure needs to become simpler because we are overwhelmed with the complexity of getting it to our audience. And that's what we're being asked. What we're very good at doing is helping you accomplish that through your infrastructure by simplifying it. So the trends that we're seeing about how do we do that simplified message, the traditional ways that linear broadcast, which is still primarily the revenue generator for you, more than 75% of the revenue that's being generated still comes from linear revenue sources. So the development of that infrastructure and maintaining it is still critical to your business. Nonlinear represents opportunity, and that's what you're hearing today from both the broadcasters and us on the manufacturing side. How do we help you deliver to that space? Which means we're adding the ability to help you deliver into multiple places. How do we help you deliver into that complexity, but do it in a simple way? This is what we've been doing so much as a part of being a division of EMC and leveraging that infrastructure capability to make the delivery simpler. We do it by being open because that's what you're asking us, and that's what you're asking from the manufacturers, is to support flexibility so that you can be more efficient delivering into a more complex world with more content than ever before. Trying to do this with traditional infrastructure doesn't scale. Our customers tell us this by the way they invest in us and other technologies that are open. When I have to deliver 100 formats in nonlinear and linear, the ability to do it flexibly is key, because when you hit barriers, that creates challenges to your workflow, challenges to growing your business. We heard from Al Jazeera, ambition. How do I think big? Because that's where opportunity lies, and that's where we're pursuing that market as well by our design, is helping you think big and pursue that. So covering all these markets and all these components of video, the formats, HLS, H.264, H.265, these emerging formats to deliver in. Our goal is to be open and to support your ability to grow your business, but not grow complexity in the process. We consolidate and we keep it simple. And that's what our customers are doing by investing in us, is they're attaining those goals. So by extension of your question, how do we do this for the marketplace? Just keeping it simple. We already have too much that we're managing in the first place. So we do this with ITV. Last year, we accomplished for them taking over 20 different storage platforms down to a handful, because managing 20 different platforms is hard, and managing a handful is easy.
Thank you. Amran, you're a service provider, you're not a broadcaster, you're not a manufacturer. How do you manage you upgrading your system, keeping them up to date to serve your clients? You always have challenges of different file formats coming to the facility, and now going forward, how do you manage that challenge?
Actually, I'm totally agree with Hassan, because he mentioned this, the main challenge in the broadcasting industry. Really, we are facing a big challenge now in terms of technology and culture. Mainly in technology and cultures. I'm talking about our region, okay? Because so far we have a lot of companies in the mixed mode, means they have islands tapeless island with the traditional workflow. And of course, this will give us a lot of inefficient work. And broadcasters in the region, I'm sorry because they are not set together to address this challenge, the new challenge what we are facing, and to address these issues we are facing, which we never faced before. Of course, our facility is a tapeless, end-to-end tapeless, from acquisition to archiving. But at that time when we built this facility, of course, we look to the technology only. And unfortunately, when you are going to build this facility, we have to look to different way, additional to technology, because we have to think about how to adapt the business models and how you can re-engineer the process and workflow to meet the expectation for the customer. And as to 454, we are in the up to date, but we're facing a lot of challenge in terms of formats, in terms of integration, because this one adding cost when you are talking to vendor to do the plugin, for example, for any nonlinear editing or acquisitions or archiving, all this one will add in cost, and this is a big challenge for us.
Thank you. Dom, you mentioned something related at the beginning about format agnostic systems. I think you apparently believe in the importance of that. And what David mentioned about also the openness of systems and the flexibility and ability to expand. Can you elaborate more about traditional, let's talk about production systems, production and post-production systems. How do you compare the old system to the new one which you may have or you wish to have in your facility?
I think what Hassan said was interesting actually, because I think we've all done file-based workflows for a while now. 10 years ago at Showtime, ART, a similar period. So we all understand the file-based nature of things. But I read recently Mr. Billions was talking about his new box, and something that surprised me in there was the fact that it ran a different format of low-res, or OTT if you like, than the Play platform, which surprised me. And Hassan was alluding to the fact that you should have content again in multiple formats, but different sizes potentially, and that should start at the beginning of the process. Now I actually believe in the opposite. I think we should have one house format, which is a high quality format, and transcode it to what is needed at the end product. But I think what you said was interesting. If you look at a football match or something like that on a big screen, and you've got the big ISO, which is great. I don't know if anyone saw at IBC the Sony 4K demo. Looked fantastic, right? But then when you try and have that ISO on an iPhone or an iPad, you can't make out the players or the ball. So I think the future is in finding ways of intelligently, at the end of the process, after ingest and processing, to scale or make that content appropriate to the end user or the end user device. And I think that kind of technology is where we should be looking. I mean, simply in YouTube, you upload something to YouTube or to Facebook, it recognizes your face. It recognizes who you are. That sort of technology doesn't exist within broadcast. And I think perhaps in the brave new world, that's where we should be looking. Because in the future, we're going to get all of our content online, and the secret's going to be how you find what it is you're looking for, especially if you don't know what you're looking for.
This leads us to discussion about the software systems and media asset management systems, because it's not only about the essence of the files, it's about how to manage it, how to browse it, how to see it. And you're now in the project of tapeless file, complete file base. Did you manage to find a system that is open and on different levels, working on the acquisition side, in post-production, in news, in current affairs, in drama and so on? How do you see what's available now in the market, and what do we need?
Well, I'm hoping we found the right system because we've just bought it. But yes, I mean, we were looking for a very, very flexible system, one where you could change your workflows, redesign the system, alter all the parameters yourself without having to go back to the manufacturer and say, oh, I'd like this changed, or I'd like that changed. I think because, everyone knows in the business that things change so fast that you have to be flexible. There's nothing worse than being stuck with a workflow and you can't easily change it. So we've gone for a system we think is the right way to go, and it fundamentals on working from proxies. So we do as little moving around of large files as possible. I mean, all the craft editing takes place in the normal way, but we do a lot of work using proxies, people browsing media. There's a certain amount of rendering of high-res from low-res decisions. And all these kind of things, I think, make things more efficient, and they stop you clogging up your network by constantly trying to shuttle large files around.
Sure. We'll jump to David because, as I said, AMC Isilon works for other industries. And I think in 2006, the IABM estimated the size of the broadcast technology industry at maybe $11.6 billion, while the research and development only for Microsoft and Intel that year was $11 billion. So IT is much bigger than the broadcast technology. Maybe this is grew over the last few years, but still the magnitude is much higher. How can the broadcast industry and the media industry, not necessarily broadcast, benefit from IT developments for other industries?
You bring up an interesting point about sizing media at the top here for the appropriate audience, whether it's 4K. I had the privilege to be on the Sony lot 2 weeks ago to actually see the 84-inch 4K display that's going to sell for $25,000 US list. They've already sold out their first section of the run of that product. And yet, take that content and size it for a mobile platform that you hold in your hand, where the detail's too minute. And then through all of that, if there's stuff you're searching for, how do you find it? This is something where what we did as Isilon has now merged with what EMC expects us as a parent company, which is the analytical side, extracting value out of the data you have. So one of the things that's happening in the media business at this point in time is generating nearly an exabyte of media data per day worldwide. That's a lot of content. How do you find what's important, what's of value in that content as a content producer, as a broadcaster, as a distributor of this stuff? Technology needs to move forward to help you find what's important, in many cases, before you've even had a chance to tag it or apply metadata to it. So that's where we're applying analytics to our platform. We've got an interesting opportunity, a project that we're working on here in the Middle East, where there's a partner of ours, technology-wise, that has an asset management system for the archive. And they've developed a new way to be able to do facial recognition scanning, to be able to find the information that's living within the archive, but not in a way that traditionally is based on how it was tagged when it was archived in the first place, 2, 3, 5, or more years ago. So what if there's an individual in there that would be of value to you today that you didn't know was of value back then, and it's in your archive? That could be an asset that's of value to you to drive revenue and grow your business, if you could find it. So what we're doing is we're applying an analytics point of view. This is what we refer to as big data. And big data is not the fact that it's 4K from 2K, Ultra HD from mobile platforms. That's not big data in this case. What we're talking about is the minute aspects of it and the volume of that metadata, which is an individual's face in a video frame. How can I find that person? That is what we're applying as the science of big data to the content of archive to help you find it more efficiently, partner with technology vendors that have the applications, asset management, to hook into our platform, to be able to help to extract value out of an archive. The largest complaint broadcasters have about archive is, I keep data, especially file-based workflows, and it's costing me money to store it, and I'm not getting anything from that when it's more than a week old. It's likely going to go into the basement, and I'll never touch it again. More than 90% of your content that you would archive, you feel like that. So how do I extract something of value instead of making it cost me money? That's what we're partnering with technology vendors to do, which is the analytics, the analysis of it to find value in what you've stored.
I think
those are ways we're doing
This is interesting because big data is one of those terms that Google and the guys bound around, which we don't hear here. SOA. Someone was talking to me earlier about what SOA